What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. So have an unboxing day, not really a mod, just something the Jeep needed. And I also am going to throw in something with this video for free. It is some stuff that I bought to put in my Jeep for off-roading. There's a few things that you might need for off-roading and that you might not think about, and there's a few things I'll probably add to this as well, and I'll mention those. I just haven't got that yet. But there's a couple more things that I'll probably add to this to put in my Jeep, just to be on the safe side. I'll explain why I'm doing that along the way, but let's get into this unboxing. As you can see, let me see where my name is. You can see right here, it's from Rock Auto. Now, Rock Auto don't sell mods per se. They sell parts. Now, the Jeep needed this. I really couldn't figure out which one was the problem, so I just bought them both. And you'll see here in a minute just exactly what that is. Let me take the packing slip out, get some of the paper out of it. Now, I do want to say I splurged a little bit on this. I've told you all before that if you ever buy a vehicle off me, it is probably going to be in better shape when I sell it to you than it was when I bought it. Now, first thing, and this is actually made in Canada, but it is Mopar. I did buy original Mopar equipment with this. Let's see how they got that shut. I thought it would actually just slide open, but it doesn't look like it does. It just opens from the top. So what this is an idler tension bracket. So I have an idler that's making a noise, especially in the mornings, and it'll squeal and make some weird noise for like the first 3 or 4 minutes I drive a Jeep, and then it quits and it doesn't do it anymore the rest of the day. There are 2 idlers on this Jeep, and I cannot pinpoint which one it is. But since I'm going to have to take the belt off anyway, I bought both of them. I might as well place them both while you're in there. This one is going to be the hard one to do. A lot of times it kind of oxidizes onto the piece of aluminum that it attaches to, which is your alternator bracket. The one reason I did go with Mopar is it is just a factory part as well, but it does come with the hardware to install it. These are a T40. That's going to suck a little bit getting off, I think. So I bought the one that had the hardware with it. That's the first one. Now, as you all can probably figure, I just said I bought 2 of them, and the second one is the other one. So let's get it open and make sure that it is the correct part as well. I do want to show, this is also Mopar. So let's get in here and see what it looks like. Tons of paper and everything. At least they packaged it well. But here again, here is the pulley. I do want to say another reason I bought this one is because it comes with all the hardware. Now, this is just a 15mm bolt. No big deal. That one would come out easy, but it was just like, I don't know, $10 more for the actual Mopar part with the hardware with it. The other ones did not come with this spacer or the bolt or the washer. This one came with everything. And I was like, for $10 more, I'm replacing it all. So I went ahead and bought original Mopar equipment, and we're going to be changing them out. I'll do a video on that to make sure. My dog just jumped up here, and I got a ton of stuff sitting over here. I just wanted to show y'all what I got, and we'll be doing a video on how to install both those. So now let's get on with some stuff that I bought to actually carry in my Jeep to go off-roading with. And then at the end, he's just very resilient over here until I move this stuff so he can sit down. And then at the end, I'll tell you some stuff I'm going to buy, or a couple of things I'm going to buy to go in there just in case. Now, with this box, I did buy an extra serpentine belt. Now, they had it just installed, a brand new serpentine belt on the Jeep when I bought it, and I have a feeling that they thought the squealing was the belt, and it turned out to not be the belt. It's one of the idlers. And I don't know if they didn't know how to fix it, if they didn't want to fix it. I don't know. But I went ahead and bought another belt because when you're off-roading, a belt is something that's very easily broken. So If you break a belt, you're kind of stuck there. So I'm going to throw an extra belt into the Jeep just for off-roading purposes. That way if I break one, I'll just swap out the belt. Now going with that, I also had to get a breaker bar. I have a lot of tools, but I did not have a breaker bar. Now I needed a breaker bar to actually install the idler tension bracket. I mean, I had to have this. And so I just went ahead and bought one, but I'm also going to keep this in the Jeep for purposes of, as you know, if I break a belt, I will need something to release the tension so I can get the new belt on. Of course, the old belt's broke. I won't have to release the tension, take it off, but I will need something to put the new one on. So I'm just going to throw this breaker bar in the Jeep. Now, I've not decided fully how I'm going to carry all this stuff. That'll probably be another video, but this is some stuff I'm going to carry with me. Now, I went ahead and bought a Craftsman 13 millimeter because that's what takes off my doors, and I actually took my 13 millimeter out of my other Craftsman set, so I went ahead and bought a wrench to replace that. You will also need a T40 hex to remove the tensioner bracket, so I went ahead and actually bought one of them because I didn't have one. So this won't stay in the Jeep necessarily, but I didn't have one and I bought it, so I threw it in here. Something else I bought to keep in the Jeep full time, and that is this Craftsman screwdriver set. It has tons of screwdrivers and Torx bits and stuff like that. It is ratcheting, telescoping, and it also has a magnet that comes with it, and it comes with this little pouch that you can carry it in. Now, you know, this isn't the expensive Craftsman stuff you used to get at Sears. This is the cheaper stuff that you get at Lowe's, and this was probably like $20. It wasn't very expensive, but I have all the screwdrivers I'll need to actually work on anything that might come loose in the Jeep while I'm off-roading. I'm a little paranoid about being way back up in the mountains and the Jeep breaking down or having an issue or something breaking and not being able to work on it. And continuing that trend, I also bought a Cobalt set of sockets. So this comes with a ratchet, a ton of sockets, and a couple of extensions. And it's small and compact, and it'll basically just slide underneath the rear seat, out of sight, out of mind. And they have lifetime warranties on this Cobalt stuff. I've used Cobalt stuff a lot here at the house and at work and stuff like that. I've never had an issue with it, but if I did have anything break, you know, I'm sure Lowe's would replace it. This is going in the Jeep, and it will stay there. Here, I'll open it and show you what all is in it. I like how it has the black on it. I like the black highlights, and the sockets actually have like this little knurling, so when you're like trying to twist it out with your fingers, it kind of helps you out a little bit. And it has a nice locking system, and we're good to go. And like I said, it's compact and it fits real nicely in the Jeep. So those are some things, some tools and stuff I'm going to keep in there, just in case something happens while I'm on the trail and I need to fix it. You never know what you might break when you're off-roading or going through rough terrain. So it is always good to carry something like this with you. Now, some things that I'm going to add. So, you know, Jeep TJs, the catalytic converter set underneath the engine. It can heat up the engine, especially when you're going slow. And I say heat up the engine, it can heat up the engine bay. Especially when you're going slow and you're not getting a lot of air into the radiator, which is why I bought the hood louver. We'll get into the hood louver install later. I've not done that yet. Haven't got up my nerve to do it yet. But that's why I bought it, and I'm sure I'll mention that again in that video. So it can cause a little bit of heating issues. Mine's never overheated, knock on wood. It's never had an overheating issue. But if it ever did, with this toolkit, I could remove my thermostat and let the antifreeze flow through it more freely, or all freely, and keep that engine a little cooler. But to do that, now I have removed the thermostat and I've took the gasket out as well. So I will be purchasing another thermostat gasket to throw in the Jeep. That's very thin. It'll probably go in the glove box so it don't get damaged. That's probably where I'll keep it. But it's very thin. They're very, very cheap, $3 or $4 or something like that. And if you ever need to remove something like that, you don't want it to be leaking on the way back out because you're going to build up some pressure with that heat. So put a new gasket on as well. Just make sure you clean it good and stuff like that before you reinstall the new gasket. So, you know, that's something I'm also going to add. You know, other things, I can't really think of too many more things I'm going to add other than that, but that is something I've not bought yet that I'm going to put in there as well, just for that purpose. You know, I'm sure there's tons more things. You can have tow straps. I probably need to get one of those. If I can get a winch, eventually, not if, but eventually when I get a winch, a tow strap isn't going to be as important to me because I'll have a winch to pull myself out, but a tow strap will be nice to pull you or somebody else out if something happens. I'll also probably throw like a tire patch kit. I forgot about that, but I'll probably throw like a tire patch kit or something like that. Now, if you cut down a sidewall, that's not going to do you any good. But if you just puncture a hole in the tire, you can just take that tire patch kit, puncture it, fill it back up. Now, I do have a Cobalt air compressor, a small air compressor. I'll throw that in the Jeep whenever I start to go. I'm probably not going to buy another one of them just to dedicate to the Jeep. The tire patch kits are cheap enough that you can do that, but I'm probably not going to buy a whole nother tire compressor, a small one like a cigarette lighter one. I'll just throw that one in there whenever I'm going to go, you know, off-roading or something like that. And then if something happens, I'll have something to pump up the tires. Now, I know you say I could throw my tools I have now in there, but it's a big old toolbox. It's not a lot of room in the Jeep, so the smaller stuff would actually work better. If you can think of anything that I might be forgetting, add that in the comments. Is there something else I need to add to the Jeep for off-roading that might come in handy? Now remember, I may have passengers in there, so I can't take up all the rear seat and stuff like that. So most of this stuff is either going to fit underneath the rear seat, which is very tight, or behind it, which is still very tight in a TJ Wrangler. Just leave that in the comments, and I'd greatly appreciate it. I appreciate you all watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you might have taught you something else that you might need to put in your Jeep. See you guys next time.